Hello, welcome to another Black History Moment, reading from Black Saga. 1670. Population Overview. General population in North American British colonies from 1660 to 1670. The population in colonial America increased by about 49%, from 75,058 to 111,935 total residents. Three colonies comprised the majority of residents: Virginia, 35,309, Massachusetts, 30,000, and Maryland, 13,309. Together, these colonies made up slightly more than 70% of the total population. Blacks in North American British colonies. Approximately 4,535 blacks lived in colonial America, up 55% over the previous decade. The largest concentrations of blacks were still in Virginia, with a total of 2,000, and Maryland with 1,190. Virginia had more than doubled its black population since 1660, and Maryland's increased by 57%. Although the black population grew faster in other colonies, their overall black populations were considerably smaller. For example, Northern Carolina's black population grew from only 20 in 1660 to 150 in 1670, a 650% increase over the decade, and Rhode Island's black population increased from 65 to 115, a 77% increase. Population in Charleston, Carolina. The town of Charleston, Carolina had a population of roughly 400, many of whom were blacks from Barbados. For almost the first 30 years of its existence, Southern Carolina was a child of Barbados, an English island in the Caribbean. It received its first settlers from the island. Its economy was closely tied to exporting provisions there, and its lifestyle mirrored that of Barbadian planters. When overcrowding occurred on the island in 1650, many planters, freed servants, and slaves of African descent migrated to other English colonies. In the Carolina colony, a mix of these immigrants settled on the Ashley River near Charleston. France allows slavery in colonies. A royal order permitted slavery in the French colonies. Within the next 3 years, 10,000 slaves were shipped to the French Caribbean islands. Land grants offered to slave owners in Carolina. Almost from the start, Southern Carolina's economy and society involved slaves. Proprietors granted land to all who brought slaves into the colony. One such declaration stated, "To the owner of every Negro man or slave brought thither to settle within the first year 20 acres, and for every woman, Negro, or slave, 10 acres of land, and all men, Negroes, or slaves after that time, and within the first 5 years, 10 acres, and for every woman, Negro, or slave, 5 acres. Christian blacks not considered lifelong slaves in Virginia. On October 13th, Virginia passed legislation that disallowed lifelong servitude for the black person who had become a Christian before arriving in the colony. The law was passed to address the difficult moral issue raised as Christians enslaved other Christians. The law further divided all non-Christian servants into two groups: those coming by sea, who shall be slaves for their lives, and those coming by land, who were to serve indentured terms. Thus, Africans, who virtually all arrived by sea, could be enslaved, but Native Americans could not. Thank you for listening to this Black History Moment.